Thank you, dear brother. Really appreciate you for reminding us that faith without works is dead, and that God has called and empowered His church to be salt and light. And when we are, men will see our good works, but glorify Him who is in heaven. At this time, I have the joy and opportunity to introduce our governor, Matthew Bevin, who is the 62nd governor of Kentucky and who was elected on November the 3rd, 2015. Governor Bevin is a loving husband and father of 9 children, a military veteran, a successful entrepreneur, and a small business owner. He is born in New Hampshire and was raised with a strong work ethic, a firm Christian value, and appreciation for his family's blessings. He attended Washington and Lee University in Lexington, Virginia, and Governor Bevin also served active duty as a United States Army officer. Thank you, Governor Bevin. Following his transition to the Army Reserve, Governor Bevin spent many years working in the financial industry, and it was during this time that a job opportunity brought Governor Bevin and his wife, Glenna, a registered nurse, to live in Kentucky. Immediately, the Bevins fell in love with the bluegrass state, where they placed roots, raised their family, and have lived happily for the past 17 years. Governor Bevin has served on many nonprofit boards, including the chairman of the board for the American Red Cross, the Louisville area chapter. He has also served as a board member of AWC. He has permanently endowed several scholarship funds, grants, and centers that provide educational opportunities for young people with limited financial resources. The Bevins are active in their community and attend Southeastern Christian Church in Louisville, Kentucky. I am thankful for Governor Bevin. I'm excited to have him in our presence today, and we are praying for you, brother, and we want to invite you to the podium at this time. Let's give it up.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It is, I will say this, for those that have been up here and not drawing your time, you can do whatever you want out there. I can't see you, except for those immediately right in front of me. You could slip out, but don't. Quite seriously, I'm grateful that you're here. There's any number of places that you might have been tonight. Some of you came here on purpose. Some of you came here knowing it was a fundraiser. Some of you came here with your checkbooks intending to give. Some of you are wondering what's going on because you meant to be in the next room where the stamp collectors from the Southeast are meeting. I'm just kidding, they're not really, but some of you might have just wandered in here because it looked like a good time. But the bottom line is every one of you has given a portion of your night. You've given it and been, I hope, inspired by the words that we've heard and just the significance of what is at stake. I want to share something with you. I'm here to ask for your money. I don't want to be, unclear about that. And I'll get to that in a minute. But I want to share something with you, which is a passage from Scripture, which interestingly is probably not one, I won't ask for a show of hands, I wouldn't be able to see you, but I would simply say this, I'm betting that most of you have probably not been in the book of Haggai recently. And so you may have been just this morning, but I want to share with you 3 verses from Haggai chapter 1. And the first and third of these 3 verses, which are verses 5 and 7 of that chapter, are exactly the same. And they're an admonition. And they fit very much, interestingly, in line with what was just said and came to mind as you were speaking. Haggai 1:5. Now this is what the Lord Almighty says, give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much, but harvested little. You eat, but never have enough. You drink, but never have your fill. You put on clothes, but you're not warm. You earn wages, only to put them in a purse with holes in it. This is what the Lord Almighty says, give careful thought to your ways. You earn wages to put into a purse with holes in it. Every one of you who came here intending to give tonight, with rare exception, came here with a dollar amount already in your head. I've been to many of these. You've been to many of these. There's an amount in your mind that you already intended to give. I'm asking you to do a whole lot more than that, and I'll be very specific in a minute. I don't know how you could hear what we've just heard, not only from the message that was just brought to us, but from the words that came from these women whose lives have been transformed by the ministry of a woman's choice in Nicole's place. The ripple effect of that, if you saw just at Nicole's place in the last 10 years, 2,300 women. Every one of them has at least one child, some a lot more than one child. Think about the ripple effect of that. Think about the exponential power and ripple effect of that. Think about the cost to society and the opportunity cost of these women not having been reached from a purely financial standpoint, from a quality of life standpoint, from an emotional stability standpoint. And then factor in something for which you cannot put a price, which is the spiritual standpoint. That they have been able to be redeemed and reached with the gospel of Jesus Christ. How blessed we are to be in a nation where we can still unapologetically proclaim the gospel of Jesus Christ and reach out to women and to men in distress and to touch families, to change trajectories, to transform lives, not only in that moment, not only for those women and their children, but for generations to come. How blessed we are. How can we not see these things, hear these things, and be moved, powerfully moved to action? So I want to ask you, please, on your table in front of you, there's a couple of things, including, in addition to tonight's program. And before I even ask for this, I want to ask you to take out the two things. One of them is a kind of square-looking program. It's a little thicker than what I'm holding in my hand. You don't need to look at that right now, but I want to ask you, don't leave that on your table. I want to ask you to please bring that home with you. And I want to ask you to do something specific with it when you bring it home. Keep it for as long as you care to as a reminder to pray for this ministry. But I want you, please, to intentionally go through each page and make a mental and perhaps literal note of the people who have taken the time to sponsor this organization in this banquet tonight. We owe them a tremendous debt of gratitude. They have chosen to give that which God has given to them back in some small measure, perhaps, or large measure, to be sponsors to varying degrees. Patronize them. They provide a variety of services, goods and services. Get to know who they are. Show your gratitude to them for their support of life by literally looking at them and making an intentional choice to use their services if you are in need of them. The second thing I want to ask you to do is pull out the thing that looks like this. There are also in there an envelope and something that looks like this. You will see that it is, my total pledge is tonight to be given, monthly installment, quarterly installment, annual installment. That's what it says. And you can put a dollar amount over blank years. This is where I'm going to be very specific with you, but I want to tell you one more thing. I'm going to share with you something that some of you are probably familiar with. On the other side of the world, in the Middle East specifically, there are two bodies of water. They're 65 miles apart. They're both fed by the exact same source. The same river feeds both of them. One of them has an abundance of life around it, homes built around it, industry, irrigation, fertilizing fields, watering fields, fish and fishermen, children playing, people swimming, boating, activities that occur on this body of water. 65 miles away, a similar sized body of water fed by the exact same river, and there's nothing around it. There's no life in it. There's no life around it. It's dormant. It's stagnant. It has nothing. It's as valuable as a purse with holes in it. What's the difference? They're both fed by the Jordan River. One you know as the Sea of Galilee, the other one you know as the Dead Sea. What's the difference? The Sea of Galilee takes in that with which it's blessed, the waters that flow from the Jordan River, and it sends those waters back out again. The Dead Sea is blessed by the very same water. It gives nothing back. Nothing, including life. I'm asking you to give more than sacrificially. This is not a game. This is not a political thing. This is about life and death. And every single one of us is going to be held to account someday by our Creator, who knit us together in our mother's wombs. Every one of us has been blessed beyond measure. 99% of the world can't even imagine eating the meal that we just ate. There are some of you who came here tonight and you intend to give an amount of money that, frankly, you would pay a whole lot more than that to be at the Louisville-Clemson game this weekend. I'm not kidding. You would, and you know it. Then you're not thinking of giving enough. This is life and death. We will stand before a righteous judge someday. We will be held to account someday for what we do with that which we have been given. Are we going to keep it to ourselves? Are we going to put it in a purse with holes in it? We are admonished by God to be very careful. Consider your ways. He says before and after, telling us not to put that with which we've been blessed into a purse with holes in it. I'm asking you tonight to put it into an organization that reaches people with the very hope and the dignity and the opportunity and the possibility and the word and the promise of Jesus Christ in salvation and forgiveness and redemption and everything that so many in this room have been blessed with, and so many in our city, in our state, and in our country, and in this world are hungering for. Let us not take it in and keep it to ourselves. Shame on us if we do. Consider our ways. That's what God is asking us to do. So I want you to take this tonight. And what you do is between you and God. But I'm going to ask you very specifically to consider the number that you know you had in your head when you came in here. And I'm asking you to double that number. And I'm asking you to pledge that doubled number for 4 years. That's 8 times what you came in here thinking you were going to do over the course of the next 4 years. I am willing to wager if I were in the wagering mood. I got Southern Baptists here. I got to be careful. I had to catch myself there. I almost got in trouble. But in all seriousness, no matter what number you had in your head, no matter what number you came in here planning to give, and for some of you it was a big number, there's not one of you who, after parting with that number, will a month or 3 months or a year or 4 years from now miss that amount of money. You won't. Not one of you. And for each of you, it's a different number. So double that number almost certainly will also not adversely affect your life. But it will positively impact this organization in a way that would not even be possible for me to articulate to you. So I'm asking you to take that number that was in your head, and I'm asking you to double it, literally double it. If you came in here thinking you were going to give $100, give $200. If you came in here thinking you were going to give $1,000, give $2,000. If you thought you were going to give $10,000, give $20,000. If you thought I'm going to give $50,000, I'm asking you to put $100,000, and I'm asking you to trust God that a year from now, you are going to be blessed enough to be able to do the exact same thing. In a year from them, the same thing. In a year from then, the same thing. It is a leap of faith, and I'm asking you to take it because our God is big enough. And the Greek interpretation is everything. God is in charge of everything, and that includes everything in your bank account. Everything. And I'm asking you to give a piece of everything that God has blessed you with back to God through this organization in this instance. $913,000 is nothing to God. It's nothing. And it's nothing by comparison to what we collectively have the capacity to do. And so I'm asking you, please, do not take this home, say you're going to pray about it, stick it in the glove box of your car, and then this spring when you're cleaning out your car to get ready for summer, throw it away. I'm asking you, please, tonight to take the number that was in your head, double that number, and commit to pledging it either monthly, quarterly, or annually over the next 4 years, and leave it to God as to exactly whether or not you're going to be able to afford to do that, because I'm confident that God's big enough to help you accomplish anything. Please take a few minutes as I leave this stage. Speak with your spouse if necessary, and I would advise you might want to do that. As somebody who's married, I've learned that that's a good call. But give deeply, give for 4 years. Let's take that $913,000 and blow it out of the water.